Good afternoon, everybody. It's 12:05, January 9th, 2021, 12 days before the inauguration of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Probably the worst combination to enter the White House in U.S. history. How did we get there? Okay, well, I'm probably going to upset everybody here, but let's do it from my perspective. So 5 years ago, the United States was in trouble. 8 years of the Obama administration. And we knew we needed a change. And the media was selling us George Bush and Hillary Clinton. A lot of people liked Ted Cruz, a lot of people liked Rand Paul, but the media decided that it would be, at least from our perception, that it would be George Bush, Jeb Bush and Hillary Clinton. But that didn't work out that way. They couldn't sell people on another Bush administration. So they needed another bankster puppet. Ted Cruz would have fit the bill. Ted Cruz's wife is Goldman Sachs, works for the CFR. Rand Paul really doesn't have any dirt on him, so they really couldn't hold that over him. So from the ashes arises Donald Trump. At that time, we believed was an outsider. But let's take a look at this outsider. In 2004, Trump Tower, Chicago, he received $160 million from George Soros. The Taj Mahal debacle that he was involved in Atlantic City, he was bailed out by Wilbur Ross and the Rothschild Group. Donald Trump has a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. There's hundreds and hundreds of pictures of Donald Trump with Jeffrey Epstein. I'm not incriminating, I'm just saying. He's been hanging around Jeffrey Epstein for a long time. And his friendship with the Clintons. In 1997, Donald Trump was on the Larry King Show, and they asked him who he would pick as his vice president, because he was going to run in 2000. And he said his first choice would be Oprah Winfrey. If not Oprah, it would be Hillary or Al Gore. He also said in that interview that in his perfect America, no one would own guns. So let's fast forward to 2016. We got this hardcore conservative patriot who loves guns now. And maybe he saw a change, but let's just face it, there was enough dirt to compromise this man to do whatever the banksters and the globalists wanted. So they injected Donald Trump, and we were excited. And I'll be honest, I was too. Lock her up. We believed she was going to be locked up. Drain the swamp. The inauguration day ceremony, the Clintons show up, and Donald Trump calls them great Americans and appreciates their service. And there's two people that he couldn't admire more than Bill and Hillary Clinton. And when asked about it, Donald Trump says, well, that was campaign rhetoric. Okay, so we got a taste of the guy that we hired to drain the swamp pretty quick. But anyways, fast forward a couple months, all of a sudden, Q arises. And now we're hearing about all these indictments. Oh, next week, the indictments. Oh, next week. Oh, that's a code. That's a Q. That's a code. That's a Q. Oh, no, trust the plan. Trust the plan. Oh, no, it's got to get bad. It's got to get bad. He's playing three-dimensional chess. It's above our pay grade. It's called keeping your enemies closer. Okay? So you look at his cabinet. Keeping your enemies closer. Mike Pompeo, Secretary of State. Well, first off, let's go with Rex Tillerson, big-time banker, globalist, puppet. Then let's go to Mike Pompeo, former head of the CIA. Let's go to the Attorney General, first off Sessions. Then let's go to Bob Barr, big, huge deep state, part of the Bush administration. Absolute liar. Compromised person. let's look at the Secretary of Treasury. Oh, that would be Mnuchin, Skull and Bones. Okay, let's go to the Secretary of Commerce. Oh, that would be Wilbur Ross, former head of the Rothschild Group. But we're draining the swamp. And let's look at the Vice President, former bigwig at Eli Lilly, Alex Azar, Secretary of Health, former bigwig at Eli Lilly, and the Attorney and the Surgeon General, a recipient of the Eli Lilly scholarship and former employee of Eli Lilly. So what we've established is we're going to drain the swamp, but we're going to load the cabinet full of big pharma, military-industrial complex, and banksters and globalists. So this is how we begin to drain the swamp. But you know we're keeping our enemies closer. So we have a little crisis with measles. Oh, initially, all these people, Donald Trump is not a pro-vaccine guy. There's even people thought that his youngest son had autism. But we have the measles epidemic, kind of a pre-telling of the COVID pandemic. But, take the shot, he says. He doesn't even give people an option. It doesn't matter if these vaccines aren't safe or they've been tested or they contain aborted fetal cells. Just take the shot. Okay? Then we have a shooting down at the Pulse nightclub. Donald Trump states on national TV, take the guns and ask questions later. Now, Gun Owners of America dropped them right away. But the compromised NRA, they don't care. They're going to go along with it. 55 red flag gun laws under this administration and under Republican leadership in most states. But we've passed all them gun laws. Something that I didn't bring up earlier on, but in 2012, Barack Obama, the worst president of U.S. history, until probably this clown that we've had in for 4 years, but Barack Obama, let's go Barack Hussein Obama, he rescinded the Smith-Mundt Act. That's very key. The Smith-Mundt Act is a bill that stated that the United States government, the media, and corporate America is not allowed to propagandize the American public. And that still is rescinded. And all you have to do is turn the TV on, and that's all you see is propaganda. So let's fast forward. There's been other things, but let's fast forward to March 13th, 2020. Donald Trump signs a Federal Emergency Act for 6 months, which this act, and nobody wants to hold Donald Trump accountable for this. They're going to blame the governors because nothing ever falls on Trump. He's always a victim. But he's a guy who said he can get everything done. But then when he doesn't get anything done, it's like, oh, wait, he can't get it done. But anyways, so what this Federal Emergency Act allows is an example. The state of Ohio has 120 days that an emergency order can be mandated, which would include masks, shutdowns, curfews. And it's only good for one time. But since Donald Trump's federal emergency order that was signed on March 13th is in play, there's no time limit. So all of these governors and all of these unelected health bureaucrats are using Donald Trump's federal emergency order to lock down and bankrupt America. And nobody wants to hold them accountable. They want to blame the governors. But at the end of the day, if Donald Trump rescinded that federal emergency order, this would all go away because these governors and these health bureaucrats would no longer have the power. But see, we don't want to put any blame on Donald Trump because he's the victim and he's making America great again. Well, I challenge you, look around and tell me how great America is right now. It's bankrupt and it's divided. So let's look at something else that was brought out of that. Oh, And that federal emergency order was extended in November, and Azar just extended it a couple weeks ago. Donald Trump could easily rescind that as one of his last things to do before he leaves office, but chances are that ain't happening. So another thing that comes out of this, they knew very little about this virus, and so they're like, how can we test these tests? Well, they don't have a way. All of a sudden, out of the woodwork comes a PCR test, which you can get any desired income you want depending on the magnification that you turn it to. So if you turn it to 40, you can cause a peach, a pear, or a motor oil to show a virus. And that's well stated. So Donald Trump brings in Anthony Fauci and Deborah Birx to head up this coronavirus task team. And Anthony Fauci is a weasel. He's a traitor. And he's always been wanting to get the jab in you. And he's always been about pushing his remdesivir and a big pharma puppet and a liar. And Deborah Birx has told corporate America to enforce these mask mandates and all of these things so that government doesn't have to. Propagandizing the American public. And doing it in a cowardice way to act like they're the saviors while everything is being pushed. So Fauci comes out and says, do not wear masks. They don't work. And then he also says, asymptomatic people cannot transmit coronaviruses, which is a cold or a flu. But that being said, they can't even, these PCR tests that they come up with have a 97% false positive rate. All you got to do is remember DeWine tested positive and then tested negative. But we're going to take all these tests as factual, and we're going to lock America down and bankrupt the United States and make sure you can't earn a living while all of these politicians and all of these big globalists are working and making a living. They haven't been affected. And the transfer of wealth that has happened through this, Jeff Bezos has his wealth doubled through this. Doubled. And but you can't work. You have to close your little restaurant or your little bar, and you have to close it at 10 o'clock if you're open. But Sam's Club and Walmart and Target and Home Depot and all the big globalist bankster operations, they can do whatever they want. So here we sit. So what is the answer to this? Well, we know the one big part of this, there's something called the World Economic Forum's Great Reset. This is what this is all about. It's not about COVID. Is there a disease out there? There may be. But year after year, I've seen people get sick and die from the flu and other viruses. And this year, yeah, we've seen some people get sick, but would we honestly know there was a deadly virus everywhere if the media wasn't lying to you every day and the government wasn't labeling all these deaths from other things, labeling them as COVID deaths? Probably not. In fact, less people died this year than did last year in the United States in the middle of a pandemic. But that's beside the point. So this World Economic Forum, so if you go on their website, they want this perfect green new world, and they also want a population reduction of 90%. So when you hear about take the jab, well, just let that sink in. But anyways, so if you look at their corporate partners, it's all the people that have been handpicked by this administration to do all this through this. CVS, Amazon, Walmart, big media. They're all part of the World Economic Forum to basically bring in this one world government. And they planned this out last 2 years ago with called Event 201, where a coronavirus out of China went all over the world, and they basically rehearsed the COVID fraud they brought to the American people. And You talk about a transfer of wealth, and you talk about bankrupting the United States. Under the Trump administration, the United States debt now is $29 trillion. It was 19 when he took office. He added more debt than any other president. And he promised you 4 years ago he would eliminate the debt. That didn't happen. And Donald Trump, who was supposedly anti-vax, is calling his vaccine the greatest accomplishment. A vaccine for a virus that has a 99.7% survival rate, but they can't wait to vaccinate you. And I hear all these Christians, oh, that God is with Donald Trump. And Donald Trump is pushing an aborted fetal cell injection. Are people going to wake up to this? Or is this okay? Are we willing to compromise our Christian beliefs because it's Donald Trump? You know, at the end of the day, you can't fix the problems in the United States with more government. This is a spiritual problem. And you can't fix this with more corrupt big government. In fact, it's only going to get worse. And these lockdowns, they have no vision of ever opening the country back up. At some point, the American people have to say, we want our country back and we need to take our freedom back. The rest of the world is starting to wake up, but the United States seems to be falling deeper and deeper and deeper into slavery. You know, like I said, Anthony Fauci said, don't wear a mask. And if you do research on masks, they're very dangerous. They're not safe. You're rebreathing bacteria. There's mold that grows in it. And people don't know how to wear a mask. If you knew how to wear a mask, if you're wearing a surgical mask, you need to change it every 2 hours, like doctors do. And if you're wearing a cloth mask, I want you to remember something. That cloth sheds. Well, where's that pieces of cloth going? That's going in your lungs. You don't think that's starting to stick to your lungs and people are getting bacterial pneumonia and all kinds of other illnesses from this? What's to say the rises in cases ain't from people getting sick from wearing masks, because you know it ain't healthy to rebreathe your same air, especially with a dirty shame muzzle on your face. You know, America better wake up. America better wake up. This administration has been a failure. Trust the plan. 3D chess. It's got to get bad to expose them. Well, where are we at right now? We got absolutely nothing out of this administration. Nothing but a bankrupt America to be handed over to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris? Are you kidding me? This is where we find ourselves. America, we better wake up. At least one good thing might come out of this is that at least the patriots will be awakened, because they won't trust Joe Biden or Kamala Harris like they have Donald Trump while we've marched into this new world order. Now, are the American people, are they completely sold into slavery? We don't know. We'll have to see. But let's hope the American people can wake up. I hate to be negative. I really want to be positive on this, but you know, we really need to wake up, and we need to examine all of this. You know, this treating these politicians like rock stars and sports celebrities, this is ridiculous. These people are sent to do a job, and when they don't do it, we're to call them out, not make excuses for them, and not say, well, he couldn't do this or he couldn't do that. You know, Donald Trump was able to earmark $4.2 trillion to a vaccine for a virus that has a 99+% survival rate, but he couldn't get any money for a wall. And let's face it, we were told when he was campaigning that he didn't need any money for the wall because Mexico was going to pay for it. Another failed campaign promise. But, you know, if you believe any of these campaign promises from these lying, crooked politicians, you got another thing coming. You know, I'll end it on this, and this is the truest statement of all. George Carlin always used to say, and boy, this is so true, that these crooked jerks in Washington, it's one big giant club, and you ain't in it. And let's face it, in a few months, Donald Trump will be out there hanging around, probably with the Clintons and Epstein and Wilbur Ross and all these people that they supposedly hate. And we'll all be sitting here wearing face diapers, watching our friends' business and potentially our businesses in the country go bankrupt. You better wake up, people, because sitting by and expecting the government to give you your rights back is exactly what happened in Nazi Germany. And there ain't nobody in the world that's going to come save the United States, because the rest of the world is fighting these same evil bastard globalist bankers who want to bring in this global one world order under the Great Reset. Wake up, America, and God bless you.